Okay, I should be on, but I don't know if this is correct or not. So, what I want some people out there to do is put in the chat whether you can see me or hear me and if the link works. All right, because then I know I'm up and running and everything is good. All right. Let me just check here. Oh my God. Okay, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Uh, ba, 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 ba. Okay, so what I need to do is um, Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, am I live or am I not? That's the question. That's the question. Am I live? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Copy. Okay. Okay, so I'm live. I'm live. So that's the link.
So I'm live.
I'm live. So that's the link.
I'm live. I'm live.
Uh, uh, why can't I say it? Why can't I say it? Okay, so now I am going to go back. So now I am going to go back. I'm going to see. I'm going to see. Okay, so far there is nobody here that I can tell. Okay, so far there is nobody here that I can tell. Okay, so far there is nobody here that I can tell. Okay, so far there is nobody here that I can tell. Now, I am on a bit of a delay. But as soon as someone, okay, so somebody just joined in. Kathy Gillis. Kathy Gillis. Can you, hey, so you said hi, I'm gonna hi you back. How are you? Can you hear and see me? So let me know, Kathy, if you can hear me and see me. I want to make sure that you can. Just chat me back and let me know. There is an echo, but I believe I can kill it once you tell me if you can hear me. This is a work in progress, so let me know, Kathy, that you can hear me and see me. Just chat me that. Kathy Giles, sorry, not Gillis. Kathy Giles. So, Kathy, if you can see me, let me know. And if you can hear me, let me know that as well, okay? So, Kathy, let me know. And then we'll get started. Kathy, can you hear me? Oh, cool. Sorry, I had to answer it. And see me. Okay. Awesome. Stick with me. So can you still hear me and see me and all of that other good stuff? I'm going to believe that you would say yes, but let me know. Yes, okay, awesome. So, how many people are in here? There's 3 watching. Hello to whoever else is in here. I really appreciate you being here. We're going to get down to some stuff, and I want to share with you Oh, okay, cool. Right on. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it, buddy. Um, so Kathy, I mean, we can uh, we can chat here for a minute. Although I might be able to bring you into the studio. Would you mind that? Just type it in chat. You don't have to show your face. You can just have audio on. So let me know if you, yeah. No, thanks. Okay. So, uh, because this is my first day and getting everything up and running, there are some things that I want to share about Aish in particular. Um, so just give me a second. I'm going to go to my other account. So, yeah. Um, mm, cancel that. Okay. So, Kathy, there are a few, things that I want to discuss on here. I'm going to be doing this podcast every day, and for as long as I feel is necessary. And there's some things, that I think we need to deal with. You can ask me any questions you want on the chat, and I will answer them almost immediately. I'm just switching between screens, so this is a pretty dire moment for us AISH recipients, right? We are dealing with a lot of things and a lot of horrendous things, and at the hands of our government, which is nothing new, but this is certainly a new level of austerity, I guess I would say. Would you agree with that? You can just type yes or no. Right. Yeah. So, it's a tough one. I mean, it's really tough. But there are a lot of people doing a lot of statistical work and a lot of analytical work around this. A lot of people, uh, levying as much government as they can, and of course that's going to be of the utmost importance because we only have till July 1st, and this is an existential crisis for everyone. Uh, yeah, added stress, right? And I think it's beyond added stress because uh, one of the things about this is it becomes existential to our living standards, right? And I mean, if people can't live and they can't survive, that even goes beyond stress, doesn't it? That's a that's something completely different, and that's what we're facing. I mean, that's how nefarious, if you want to say evil, right? If you want to say evil or diabolical, this scheme is, and so I want to share a few things with you. I'm hoping more than one person shows up here, but hey, I don't care. I mean, we start small and we grow mighty. So, you know, I want to give an opening principle for what I'm doing here. And that is to say, when the harm is already known, meaning the government knows what they're doing and they know the harm, they already know the harm that this is going to cause. So if they continue this policy or this legislation, the harm becomes intentional in both cause and effect. So the effect is, of course, harmful. But if they know the cause, then that's a big, that's an even bigger problem because that boils down to intent, right? So they actually intend, I believe, to cause us harm. And that is, I think it's safe to say that because I mean, if I'm a drummer and an AISH recipient and I know what's going on and I know how much damage this is going to do, then how many other people out there, and especially the people that put together this legislation, they absolutely know this is horrendous and what it's going to do. So that's not rhetoric. I'm not, that's not hyperbolic. That's basic cause and effect. And so the purpose of this show is basically because those decisions are being made to destabilize me and ostensibly 80,000 other people, and nobody in government is being forced to answer to it. Not in theory, not down the line, but right now, right? Um, Nobody is being held accountable for this, and that's a problem. That's why I want this show to exist, so that people can really come on, give their stories. They can discuss what is hurting them most about this, what they foresee for their future, which I'm sure cannot be all that tremendous, right? So, um, so if that principle is true, the fact that they knowingly and willingly are doing this, the government, then the question becomes what's being done right now. Has to be. We have to examine what that is, and we have to start to produce some sort of collective action in regard to that. So I just noticed somebody else came on here. If you want to say hello, you can definitely go ahead, and it's great to have you in the conversation. And you can say anything you want in the chat. You can ask any questions as I go along. So anyway, there's a hard hard contradiction in the reclassification of AISH. And so what AISH has already determined, and it's in their legislation, if you will, they already, so what we already have as AISH recipients is a prior assessment, not casual, not assumed, formal, documented, and verified. That's what we have. There is nothing outside of that we don't have. We are verified as individuals that either can't work at all or can work very minimally. And so that's already established under the AISH doctrine. The system itself, through its own process, its own medical requirements, its own statistical framework, determined that these individuals, meaning us, were unable to work. So they've already determined that. We've already had that determination, and that is something that should be, in perpetuity, settled and dealt with and done, right? And that's not my opinion. That is what they have written into their Constitution. The fact that because of our adjudication, in perpetuity, we are good. And yet somehow we're not. And that's how nefarious this legislation is. And this is done by their own internal data and using their own standards. Okay? So their own standards are the ones that have determined our ability or our necessity for AISH. So beyond that, or in tandem to that, the same system is reversing its own written position, reassessing and reclassifying those same people as able or partially able to sustain work without producing any hard evidence. So this is another thing. They actually have zero evidence. And hello to whoever just joined. If you want to say hello in the chat, that would be fantastic. We are 3, but we are mighty, and we are moving on. So say hello. Ask any questions you want. This is an open forum. It's not about me. It's about everybody here. It's about everybody in this chat. So, yeah. So let me get back to this. uh, basically, without producing any hard evidence, meaning anything statistical, the government has decided that they are just going to do what they are doing. They have no statistical evidence. They have um, no evidence at all to produce that this works. In respect to that, we, on the other hand, have all evidence showing that this kind of a transition will only destabilize 80,000 people. So there is no specific Alberta specific evidence showing that this produces stable outcomes. None. No demonstrated pathway showing that removing or threatening stability produces sustained employment, maintained health, or long term independence. There is no evidence of that. The government has no evidence of that. And on our side, not only do we have all clinical and statistical and mathematical and clinical evidence to support our side, but at the same time, we have history to tell us that every moment of austerity in the life of this planet has only produced greater harm. It has produced nothing of benefit for those people in which this kind of trouble has been levied upon. So that's very important to know if you're going to be fighting this government. So what are the known outcomes, right? What we do have consistently across every system that has ever been measured is the opposite, just like I said. When stability is removed, housing is lost, treatment is disrupted, mental health declines, emergency systems use rises, and the overall cost increases, which is another thing that we're going to get to in regard to the cost, the overages to the potential millions and billions of dollars that the government is actually going to have to put out in order to do this transition. It is either going to be in the millions, well, it will be in the millions, absolutely, and it could easily become in the billions over what it already is. So, yeah. So I want to hear from you. I want to hear from the chat. What do you feel about what I've just said? How does that connect with you? How do you feel about that? Does that make you scared? Does that, what feeling do you get knowing that your government really doesn't like you? Anybody can chat. I'm curious because I know how it makes me feel. It makes me feel very scared, of course, concerned, fearful, and the only thing I feel like I can do is fight. And that's why I started this podcast, because I feel that we need to, as a group of individuals, 80,000 strong, we need to fight. That's what I think. So, Kathy, it's back to you and me. How do you feel about it? I mean, if you don't mind, can I ask if you're on H? You can just chat. Yeah. Yeah, you're on H. So, because it's just the two of us again, I'm curious, do you feel anything? You have been for 5 years. Cool. Do you feel anything similar to what I'm expressing right now? I mean, I'm trying to be as humble as I can and just express that I am, of course, afraid. And I don't know what to do necessarily. I mean, I know to do this and I'm doing this, but, and protest, but outside of that, what are your feelings? I'm curious. I'm very curious. And I noticed somebody else just came into the stream. So if you want to say hello, there's only 3 of us in here, and so this is kind of turned into a chat, and just say hello. And I'm curious how people feel. So Kathy, back to you. I feel that the government is punishing us because we are disabled. Well, you're not wrong. Um, I know it's too easy to invoke Hitler all the time, and I think we're doing it too much these days. But if you think back to the Second World War, and if you think back to the Nazi regime in the 30s, they didn't disrupt the lives of the middle class to begin with. They disrupted the lives of what? What were the first demographics? It was gay people and it was the disabled. These are the first. These are typically the first lines of action for any government because they are easier to manage than the middle class. The middle class makes up the majority. They pay more in taxes. Blah blah blah. On and on. So the government will typically cut the legs out from under a society, starting with the disadvantaged, the disabled, things, people that, like I said, in Nazi Germany, it was gay people, it was the disabled. And so this is what the government is doing again. Now, we could, of course, ask ourselves, is it so nefarious that that an Alberta or a Canadian government would do this? And I would say that this is a potential. This isn't about a country or a government. It's about how people act and how they react. So it is absolutely possible for any society or any country to turn this way. And if we look at the Alberta government, we know that they are attempting to, leave Alberta, the separation movement. And that's, of course, an issue that that begs a lot of questions. Daniel Smith, just got back from Saudi Arabia and got herself a whole bunch of nice gifts and a nice plane ride and 7-star hotels. And you can bet that some deals were probably cut there. I mean, why wouldn't we assume she just didn't go there to golf for the weekend? She went there for a reason, and that's a political reason. And so all of a sudden she comes back from Saudi Arabia and Mar-a-Lago and starts talking separation. Very interesting, isn't it? Right? And so with that separation has to come certain factors. And I think that's why we're being hit right now. I think we're being hit because we are vulnerable. Yeah, thank you for agreeing. We are extremely vulnerable the way we are. The fact that we are disabled, the fact that we can't easily collectivize, the fact that even though we're 80,000 strong, we're not nearly as many as the middle class. And so the government uses that. The government is going to abuse that fact and use it against us, and that's exactly what they've done. That's exactly what they've done. So this is a problem. Like I said, it's a problem that makes me fearful for the history of me. For what that means for the rest of my life. I'm almost 60, and if I were 60, I guess I would be just over the hump. But I'm going to turn 60 6 weeks after this transition takes place. So I'm screwed, right? I am part of the 80,000, really. So, seeing that it's back down to you and me, Kathy, I'm gonna read again, just a little bit of this, like some of the hard numbers. So stick with me here. So the cost reality is this: the stability for an AISH recipient is around $21,000 a year. Okay, $21,000 a year. That's a little bit of money when you scale it up to 80,000 people, but it is not nearly what it would cost if our stability collapses. So the collapse that could be incurred by 80,000 people is going to rise to between $70,000 and $140,000 per year. That is an absolute truth. So right now they're spending 21,000, and for the people that fail under this transition, it's going to end up costing them anywhere from 70 to 140,000. I'm curious, Kathy, did you realize that? Did you know that? You can just type yes or no. I'm curious. It'd probably take a second. Okay, so no. Yeah. So that's the reality. Now, of course, 80,000 people are not all going to fail, right? Um, that's just not statistically possible. But what is statistically possible is that 20,000 people, or let's say 20 to 30% of that 80,000 do fail. When that happens, and just to clarify, the cost of AISH right now is about 1.6 billion a year. Okay, if just 20% to 30% of people fail on this transition, meaning that they can't support themselves, they can't sustain themselves, they fall into the criminal justice system, they're homeless, they use more services, whatever that is, we will go from, at 20% of people failing, we'll go from 1.6 billion upwards of $2.3 billion a year. So you got to ask yourself, why would the government want to ostensibly spend more money on a project than they're already spending? And this is what the middle class and the UCP voter doesn't understand. They don't know that they're actually being as hoodwinked or screwed as the AISH recipient is. Because out of that money, I mean, there's also the Heritage Fund that we can talk about. And I'll get to the Heritage Fund. That is really the way the middle class is getting screwed. But regardless, I mean, we're talking the difference between 1.6 billion and 2.3, which is $7 billion extra a year. So it makes no financial sense that the government would do this. Like, none. Because it doesn't save anybody anything. So it can't be for the financial reason that the government is doing this. It simply can't be that, because their own statistics defy their logic, right? So there has to be something else to it. I'm not going to get to that right now. I have my thoughts, but so so we'll go from 70,000, from 21,000 to 70,000 to 140,000 per year per person in Alberta who fails under this system. So of course this isn't a savings, it's a multiplication. And the government knows this. There is no way they cannot know this. So right now, really, what we're talking about is the lowest cost, highest stability position, right? Right now under AISH, we have the lowest cost, and yet this is the highest stability position we have right now. So what this transition does, if the government were honest, they would say that it basically is replacing AISH with the highest cost, highest risk outcome, right? So right now we have the lowest risk and the highest stability, and what they're going to propose, or what they're going to do, equals the highest cost and the highest risk outcome. Once again, there has to be another reason other than fiscal that the government is doing this. Do you have any thoughts, Kathy, on why that might be? Right, makes no sense, right? It makes no sense to me. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to anybody. And this is where we really, it's a duality, isn't it? The fact that people that are disabled are typically looked at as not bright, not intelligent, not lacking intellect, and all these things. But you tell me, who lacks more intellect? The AISH recipient that understands what this is going to do, or the government that knows what this is going to do and doesn't care? To me, that is not, it's not only not intellectual, but it's not even human what the government is doing. It's not even human. So, so I don't think you can make any case for the AISH recipient being any less than what we see in the government. As a matter of fact, I would say that on a level of humanity, we have them beat in droves. All right? We are just far more humane. And this is going to be our strength, I think. Right? This is where we're going to have to rise up and fight for our brothers and sisters. And of course, I'm going to get to that in this podcast. I just noticed we got 3 people watching. Oh my God, it's a record. If you want to say hi in the chat to the person who just came in, say hello. Kathy and I are having a great conversation right now, just between the two of us. And we're working this thing out. We're finding a lot of information. So please say hi. So Kathy, I'm going to move on too. So what the government has to do is they have to answer this. Where is the proof that destabilizing people produces stability? Right? It's an oxymoron, but you got to ask them the question. This is how unintellectual they are. Where is the proof that destabilizing people produces stability? And then employment on top of more instability without increasing harm. The whole question is fallacious, but the bottom line is there isn't any evidence. The government has no evidence. They haven't done any studies. They haven't done anything. All they've done is put this forward to a group or a class of individuals that they believe are not going to know any better and therefore can pass this legislation. Because why? Because we suffer something? And to me, that's crazy. Yeah, cool. Hey, Donna, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Stick around. We're going to get to this. So let me reiterate that. Where is the proof that destabilizing people produces stability? Once again, that question is oxymoronic. It can't be stated in reality, but it's the question. So where is the proof that destabilizing people produces stability and then employment on top of instability without increasing harm, which you've already indicated by the fact that you're producing more instability? And so the bottom line is there isn't any evidence. The government has no evidence. And this is our strength. The fact that historically and currently, in terms of analytics, in terms of statistics, in terms of medicine, psychology, any of these metrics, there is all evidence of what this is going to produce because it has only produced that in the past, right? So, it's kind of like what the government is proposing is like, that because you can repeat a thing, because you can, let's say, hold a ball in the air and drop the ball, right? There is every reason for you to believe that when you drop the ball is going to hit the ground. What the government is proposing is the fact that they're going to drop the ball and somehow, miraculously, the ball is going to float upwards. Well, we know that doesn't happen. And evidentially, there is no evidence that they could ever produce that when you drop a ball, it floats up. That ball is going to drop down. And, excuse me, and that hammer is what's dropping on us. Okay, so that's really the truth of our situation. The good news is we have all evidence pointing in our favor. What we don't have in our favor, really, is any political system. We have no politics yet firmly established on our side, and this is what needs to be changed. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. Everybody say hello. If you're out there, say hello. And I notice there's 5 people in here now. That is now a record. So say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, thanks. Say hello. And, let me know who's in here, because I'm very curious as to what you think about what I'm saying and how it makes you feel, what you think we can do. This is about us, man. It ain't about the politician. They've got their rent paid, right? So I'm going to continue. And if anybody has a question, drop it. Like, drop it immediately, man. I'm all up for questions, and I want to know what you're thinking. I really do. So if you have a question, go ahead. I'm going to keep going. So I'm jumping a little bit ahead here, but we have to talk about confrontation. So we have to confront the people that are doing this to us somehow. I know confrontation isn't comfortable, but I'll tell you what's less comfortable, and that is being homeless, right? Losing once again to a government that just isn't that into you, right? And so confrontation is a part of this. And so I just want to check if anybody has a question. So direct confrontation. So the question becomes, what outcome are they expecting that outweighs the harm we already know happens, right? What is the outcome? Well, the outcome we already know. It's destitution, it's homelessness, it's a rise in crime, it's more stress on infrastructure. It's everything you could consider bad without any payoff. Not a financial one, because Kathy and I just discussed that, right, Kathy? There's no financial benefit. As a matter of fact, there could easily be a $7 billion loss per year to the government and to the taxpayer. And that is not only potential, it's probably absolute, or more or less absolute. So, because every measurable system says the same thing: remove stability and you produce collapse, not recovery. Okay, so the question becomes, what outcome are you expecting that outweighs the harm we already know happens? Because every measurable system says the same thing: you remove stability and you produce collapse, not recovery. Okay, so this is where we are absolutely grounded and founded. All right, we have every reason to know that what is about to happen is, in almost absolute terms, a collapse of us, of the way we live, and it will be a collapse of the system as well. It'll be a collapse of their system. Donna, so sorry, I got to scroll. Okay. So with ADEP, 60 years old, will remain on AISH. Let's say you turn 60 in 2029, they will automatically go back to AISH. You know, Donna, that's a good question. I'll look that up in just a second. But here's a kicker, right? I'm 59 3/4, or 7/8, really. I will turn 60 August 12th. And the transition is July 1st. So that means that I have missed by 6 weeks. And that, to me, that's, I mean, even if I turned 60 before, I'd still be fighting, just so you all know that. But the fact that I can fall through a bureaucratic window that thin is quite astounding to me. As to your question about if you turn 60 in 2029, will you go back to AISH? Give me a second. I want to look that up. Can you guys Give me a second. If you have any questions, go ahead. If you want to chat to each other, go ahead. I want to look that up because that's a really good question and a really important one. So give me a second, okay? Um, uh, Sorry, I'm just doing this because I'm curious. Uh, pa, 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 pa. So the short answer is no. They do not transfer back to AISH at 60. In Alberta, AISH is for people under 65. But okay, so it's not answering my question. Um, Give me 2 seconds. Okay, talk amongst yourselves. I'm coming up with an answer. So the short answer is no. There is no automatic move from ADAP back to AISH. So that is a very quick answer. But uh, see, Donna, part of this problem here with this whole transition is the fact that it's either one of two things, either or a combination of both. Either the government doesn't know what they're doing and what is going to happen in 29, or they do know, but they're withholding all of that information. I would say that is more likely the second, although I think there are elements of the first. The fact that the government, because this is such a widespread consideration, there is no way that anybody can answer all the questions that we have. They can't be answered because they are fundamentally, what would you say, in the moment, right? Um, there are things that will arise from this transition that the government can't answer. Uh, right now, there is no formal plan for people to go back on AISH, and that sucks, doesn't it? You can bet that does. Um, that's a problem. I mean, if it were for me, being 60, I could go back on AISH 6 weeks from July 1st, but I won't. Uh, I know I won't. And that's a terrible, terrible thing. Uh, and it's, once again, it's terrible for all of us. I mean, I'm not just here to talk about the terrible nature of it because we already know it's terrible. And we've already discussed that on so many platforms. Um, I think there's all understanding just how bad this is. And that's why I started this podcast, was because I want to give people a place to vent, to express themselves, to be able to breathe and to be able to ask questions, to be able to get information and cry if they have to and feel bad. And yet from that, there needs to be some action. And of course, I'm hosting every Wednesday in Calgary at Central Library. I'm hosting a group of individuals that are getting together specifically for the for the sake of protest. And we're putting that together at the moment. And I believe in the next week or two, we will start protesting twice a week in outside of City Hall in Calgary. The Harry Hayes building, all of the governmental buildings. But we're going to do it twice a week. And we're going to do it primarily at City Hall, not on a street corner, some ambiguous, street corner somewhere. So that's another reason this thing exists. Did I answer your question? I know I didn't answer it in a way you would hoped, Donna, but does that kind of give you an understanding? You can just chat whatever your reply is. I know it's not the most hopeful thing in the world, but if you're still in here, Donna, just let me know how you feel about what I did say. In the meantime, I'm going to get back to a few of my notes. So the question becomes, what outcome are they expecting that outweighs the harm, right? Uh, because there is no. So this is the thing that I think we have to lock in, and that is the fact that we're not crazy. The question and the transition uh, is crazy, and yet I think there's a propensity for us to think, well, what, am I the crazy one? Like, this is what gaslighting does, right? When somebody gaslights you, you feel like you're the crazy one. You go, well, man, I thought I had the answer. Like, am I nuts? And the answer is no. You're not crazy. You are thinking correctly about something that makes no sense. So I want everybody to feel, uh, really confident in the fact that the craziness of this is your government, and this is how crazy your government is. Um, I can't state that enough. I have had conversations with government officials, and not only have they not understand the definitions of words that I've used, but they're not that smart. And there is nothing about them, there's nothing about your typical government official that has anything over you in terms of your intellect, your knowledge, anything like this. So when we all get a little, fearful, um, uh, about this. Sorry, I just got a chat. I'm gonna go to this. So Donna, you say, I don't think Smith and Nixon planned on people wanting or asking questions like the question I asked. Well, I'll go even further. I don't think that these two individuals in particular planned on us asking anything. I mean, really, I don't think they planned on us asking any questions. I thought that I believe that in their mind, given our demographic, given the fact that we are what you would call disabled, that we have no intellect, that we have no way to reason, um, and nothing could be further from the truth. But I think they banked on that. No, they're not going to ask questions. Like I started with Kathy at the beginning. Um, this uh, this whole thing that they're doing to the disabled community happened prior to World War II. It didn't start with Jewish people, and it didn't start with the middle class. It didn't even start with the socialists and things like the Night of the Long Knives. It started with the handicapped and the gay uh, and those types of people in society. So I'm not saying that's what this is, but if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, right? It certainly looks similar to me. It doesn't look that different to me. And with Alberta's separation in the works and things like this, I believe that there is a fascist ideology here. So, yeah, I don't think Nixon and Smith thought that we were going to ask any questions at all. So, beyond the question are things like analytics and statistics. There are a ton of analytics and statistics. There are people in Alberta doing such amazing work. I can't even express how great a work they're doing. So they didn't bank on that next. And then they certainly didn't bank on protest and direct action. And that's what I'm doing every Wednesday at Central Library in Calgary. I'm forming a group of individuals that are going to go out twice a week, stand in front of City Hall in Calgary, no matter that this is a provincial legislation. We're going to stand in front of City Hall and we're going to protest until somebody gets embarrassed enough in that building to say, look, man, we got to do something about this. That is what needs to happen next. And that's what I'm attempting to do. So, yeah, they didn't think we'd ask one question. They thought we'd drool in a corner, I'm sure of it. And of course, that's not what we're going to do now, is it? No, we're going to rise up. We have to. Um, and wouldn't it be just an odd duality that the way we start getting our freedom back as a people, as a larger demos society, comes from our class, right? That we stand up even for the middle class and say, you're not going to take advantage of us, and therefore you can't rise above that. I think that's a good thing. So, Kathy, I'm going to get to you, Kathy. You just said something. But are they going to say if a person can stand out there for hours? Okay. Well, somebody's going to say that. But some of them probably won't be standing. Some of them may be riding up in their, wheelchairs or driving up in their wheelchairs. Not everybody on AISH can't stand, right? Some people can't stand, or, there's a guy that comes out every Wednesday right now that has a hard time standing, but he's going to stand, and if he needs to sit down, he'll sit down. The it is not the yeah, right. Okay, so Kathy says I can't stand more than 10 minutes. Well, outside of City Hall, there are benches that you can sit at. So you can do that. And let me state this. Anyone who can protest should. If somebody can't, there should be zero judgment levied upon that individual who says, I can't stand or I can't come out. That's okay. But there are not 80,000 of us in that position. There are a number of us in that position. And I would say, first, you need to take care of your own health. If you can come out and sit on a bench and hold a sign, sit back on that bench and put the sign behind you, great. But that's not necessary, and no one is going to judge you for the fact that you didn't or couldn't. There is no judgment here. There's no judgment in this space on this podcast. None. This is a place where we come to hold each other up and to hold others accountable. Not us. We're not accountable for this. And so I hope that answers your question, Kathy. I feel for you. I can't stand for that long either. But hey, if it takes a little bit of pain to get some gain, right, then we're going to do it. And we will be like those friends in the Bible that lowered you down through the roof, so Jesus could heal them. Not that I believe the story, but that's what we need to do for our brothers and sisters, right? That's what's important. So let me go on. So now the burden has to shift, right? And here's one claim that I've heard, right? There are people that claim, give me a second here. I want to. So if there are people out there that are going to ask if there are those, this kind of goes to you, Kathy, if there are those who claim this is about helping people re-enter work, that's fine. But then the burden of proof is on that individual that makes the claim to prove the claim. Okay? It is not, what a lot of people do is they make a claim and then they want you to prove their claim. That's not how life works. If a person makes a claim, they have to prove their own claim. You don't, right? So if someone claims that this is going to get people back to work, then they have to prove how that is. Now, if they even attempt that, they'll probably fail. But let's say they come with an argument that has some, banal statistic attached to it. The bottom line is there is no evidence from history or current evidence that forcing people to work will make people work, right? I mean, we all know it. If somebody forces us to do something, hey, go to the store for me, right? If they force us to do it, we're likely more apt to not do that thing, right? If we have the luxury of returning to a job that we can do for a certain amount of time, then that should be our choice. And leaving it up to us means that we won't fight that stubbornness in us that says, you have to do this. You have to do this, right? So there it is. And anybody that says, well, if you can stand, you can work. Well, that's simply not true. And there is no philosopher in history. There is no doctor that is living today that would ever support someone's claim like that. And you don't have to worry about it. Those people have to prove themselves. You don't have to prove anything to them, right? It's an asinine question to begin with. So, does anybody have any questions so far? I'm curious how you all are feeling about this. Did I answer your question, Kathy? I mean, how does that make you feel? Does it? We're arming each other right now. We're gathering weapons of intellect to fight back at what people are going to say to us, right? And those weapons don't involve you standing or anybody standing. They are weapons of the intellect in which to defeat every argument that comes our way, right? It's your intellect that's going to defeat these people. Certainly not your fists and not your legs. It's going to be the intellect and the fact that we have answers to really stupid questions, right? So somebody asks you a dumb question. Okay, so here's a thought. Kathy says, here is a thought. I wonder how many people that are going to work because they are forced, right? And then once that person gets to work, what is their performance? Exactly. So, right, Kathy, I mean, come on, let's be serious here. Once again, if you force somebody to do something, they're more likely to not do the thing. If they do it, the second problem is they'll do it begrudgingly. So they won't go there willfully and happy about it. They'll go there begrudgingly. Then once they get there, there are a few things, right? And the performance is right in line with that. How is a person going to perform that's, number one, been forced, number two, only has the capacity for what they actually can produce in a day, right? And then they show up at 9 a.m. and by 11 they're done, but they have to work till 5. You see, no, you can't do it. And not only that, but this structure of work, salary, all of these things were really produced off of slavery anyway, right? This is not how society should work anyway, is the fact that you have to go to work for somebody else and work so that they make money, and that you have to stand there and slave your butt off for 8 hours a day when you can only handle 3. And I'll tell you what, even though the people that we consider healthy out there, the middle class, it is an absolute strain psychologically and biologically on most people to maintain 8 hours of work a day. You can do it, but it will wear on the psyche, and it will turn your ideology in a certain direction, right? Meaning that you're going to have to become like a bootstraps guy, right? Like you just have to pull up your bootstraps. Well, that's not all of what society is. Society is based on mutuality. Society is based on working your strengths into that community and doing what you are good at. Anyway, I got you guys another question. Are there going to be people is going to not do as asked and get themselves fired? Of course there are. Of course there are. As a matter of fact, I can imagine that most people are going to be that way. Most ACE recipients, anyway, are going to realize just how much number one, they're going to realize how much they can't work. All right. They're going to understand what their capacity is very quickly. And number two, they're already armed with the understanding that life is not work. It's not all work, right? I don't think if there is a God, and I don't know that there is, nature, whatever you want to call it, put us on this planet to work. That doesn't mean that we don't work, but it means we do what is necessary in order to take advantage of our lives, the good part of our lives, the artistic part of our lives. You see what I mean? That's what I believe. Uh, so, so yeah, these people are going to fail en masse. They're going to fail, and it's not their fault. Uh, it is simply not their fault that they will fail when they go back to work. Now, some of them may pull up their bootstraps, right? They may try really hard. But then the question is, how much capacity do they have to sustain that emotional state, right? And we're on ACE for a reason, right? Because we don't have that capacity. So now this person is fired, and the reason will be sent back to ACE. Well, yeah, the problem is that, and this is the sad fact, the government we're not going to have ACE to fall back on anymore. We're going to have ADAP. And the government is basically telling you, even in spite of what you know to be true, they're going to tell you how long you can work and how much you can work and what that looks like. If you don't do what the government says, you won't go back to ACE. You might retain ADAP, or they might say, you can work, you don't need ADAP, you're done, you're kicked off, and what then? Well, now, like I said, Kathy, remember we were talking about this? Now we've gone from $21,000 a year, ACE recipient, to between $70,000 and $140,000 a year when we collapse, right? So, once again, the whole thing is asinine. It's built around this entire sphere of stupidity. Our government they're willfully stupid. They're smart about what they're doing, but they're stupid that they would think that we wouldn't understand and that we won't take action, right? Just let me see here. If they drive themselves too hard, they're going to end up in the hospital, of course. And then, so now what do you have? You have infrastructure strain. You have that $140,000 a year that I'm talking about, right? That's what happens. And this is what we fight, right? Donna says, hubby could not go back to the job he was doing before becoming disabled. He has no experience on anything else. Plus, he is tech illiterate. Of course, right. So, once again, Danielle Smith is a fortunate individual and a privileged one. And so is Jason Nixon, right? These people don't have your concerns. They don't have a hubby that would need to worry either way. If he didn't work, that'd be fine because they're in the hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And Daniel Smith, like I said, gets nice Lear jet rides, private planes to fly to Dubai. Lots of, trinkets when she gets there, 7-star hotels. Their concerns are not your concerns. This is why they can't make decisions for you, because they don't know what it means to be you. And this is what we've allowed our governments to do. That is really any political party. We have given them the power to make decisions on our behalf. When that happens, when we give away our rights to that degree, this is what happens, right? Your hubby can't work. The bottom line is, and it's a sad fact, but yeah, they don't. your government is just not that into you. They're not that into the middle class. They're not really into anybody except themselves. Of course, this can be true of any human being, but when you give this kind of privilege to people, like we do to government, this is what we get. And this is just true. And I'm sorry to hear about your husband. I'm assuming. I mean, that's terrible. And yeah, we're all in this together. Um, we're all in this together. That's what we need to realize, right? There's 4 people in here right now, and 80,000 in potential, and we need to start. Uh, we need to start getting together and rallying, and those who can start to come out and start to protest and start to scream at the object of our disaffection, which is a building and the people inside it. Yeah? That's what we need to do. I can't think of anything else that is going to remedy this situation except for the fact that, you see, here's the thing. Ultimately, politicians are afraid of you. That might sound asinine. That might sound kind of strange, but it's altogether true. Politicians are afraid of the people. They're not as afraid as they should be, but they don't want you. The last thing they want for you to do is stand up against them, right? That's why there's not much about this ADAP transition in the news, in the media, because the government doesn't want people to know this. If they did know it, more people would probably start asking questions, right? So in a sense, our community is not alone in this struggle, but somewhat, and we need to move. We need to act. We need to do what we can in order to save your hubby and you and Kathy and me, right? And so, yeah, I mean, your government should be afraid of you, in some ways is afraid of you, and regardless of that, needs to be afraid of you. And that's where protest comes in. Enough people can sway the decisions that a government makes. This has been done throughout history, and it's no less true today. So we do need to physically and observably act, right? What that does is it gets you on the news. Now, the news itself is nothing to write home about. Nobody's going on there to be a rock star or a superstar. What the news does is it propagates information. Whether or not you like the kind of news that is out there is kind of immaterial. They are bound to put news out there that is worthy of, that gains attention, right? That is observable in the public sphere. So if people start coming out, protesting, engaging, there is no way that that corporate entity cannot do anything but film it, right? And then you get on the news, and then all of a sudden, there are more eyes on what is going on. There is a greater understanding of what is being done to the most vulnerable citizens that can extend all the way upwards through a middle class and the basic Calgarian or Edmontonian or whatever, right? So this is where we have to do our work. We need to get out there. We need to start formulating. We need to start protesting. Kathy, sorry, how long are you going on for, as I have to go make supper? Donna, you go. I'm going to be on here until, until 6 o'clock probably, but, it all depends. If people leave, they leave. But you go, make dinner, and say hi to your hubby. All right? Kathy, has anyone contacted the news about this? I think a private news outlet like Rebel News would be interested. Rebel News might be interested, but they are a conservative news affiliate, even though they're independent. and they've done great work at Davos. Um, they don't do it completely all across the board. And as far as I can tell, they do like themselves a little Daniel Smith. But hey, I would, yeah, we of course Rebel News, uh, any of them, CBC, Global, whatever, CTV. Of course, they would all be interested because they have to be. This is their bread and butter. If people are making a stink in society and it's observable and undeniable, then they won't not show it because that's how they get their money, right? Revenue, right? Advertising, right? Um, so, uh, so yeah, I haven't contacted the news yet because we have not yet um, initiated a protest. But as soon as we initiate the protest, I will immediately be contacting the media. And, I have a certain in with the media because I'm a musician here in town. And during COVID, I put on one of the only live concerts in the world at that time at Telespark. And, uh, and so I got sponsorship from, what was it, 95.9 or 96 or whatever, FM. And, and so, yeah, I have some ins there as well, and I'll probably use those. They show it and twist words. Uh, yeah, especially CBC, they will take the Lord's Prayer and twist it up. Yeah, for sure. Of course they will. Yeah, that's the risk with media. They can take your words, they can twist your words, they can shorten them, they can elongate them, they can encapsulate them. Uh, yes, this is the risk of the media. They can do it and they will do it. All media do that, by the way, unless they are sort of creator media, like this stream, or like some of the guys I watch on Rumble or YouTube, right? Uh, but yes, the government, the media um, will try to subvert you if it's in their interest to do that. However, that's not always in their interest. And personally, I don't care. There's a saying that there is no bad publicity as long as they get your name right. Okay, so you can, in a sense, you can say anything you want about me as long as you spell my name right. And in a sense, that's what we have here uh, with what we're doing, right? If you want to put out false information, at least we're being seen. Now, one would argue, well, you're being seen, but what's being attached to you is negative, and it's incorrect. It's, there's no veracity to it. Sure, but we can answer those plainly and succinctly. And media is in a sense a stepping stone. So what you have is you have us, you have media, then you have government, right? So if we start taking action on what it is we're doing, then we get the media involved. And if we are strong enough, and if we are forceful enough and mighty enough, then we get the attention of government. That's really the end goal, right? So even if it's negative, we're attempting to rise above the media to get to government, right? And so, yeah, there's not a lot we can do about people formulating wrong impressions, right? But we know we are fighting the good fight. We know we are taking it to the street. And, at this point, I don't know what else we can do, right? Life is risk. There is some risk involved. We'll have to risk the media twisting us into a pretzel, right? Um, in order to get where we want to go. But I believe that we need to get there. So, that's what I think. Because I don't know if there's another choice, right? What do you think, Kathy? I think it's you watching. It's back to us. Um, what do you think? Do you think it's okay to risk or at least try? What do you think? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have to, right? Uh, and that's what I'm attempting to do. That's what we're attempting to do downtown every Wednesday. And again, nobody's saying that we will succeed, right? Nobody's saying that. But if we don't try, then we already know what the outcome is. We already lose. Um, and I can't have that on my conscience, right? I can't go to bed thinking I could have done something, right? And I think that's why you're in here. That's why these other people, came in and bounced out, uh, because at least they have that sense that I can't go to bed tonight knowing that I've done nothing. Um, and I certainly can't do that to myself. I have to try something. I guess that's yeah, no, no, no. I mean, hey, it will be, that's the other thing too, right? Like one outfit, like CTV or something like that, one of them could twist our words, but I doubt they'll all twist our words. So if we have CTV, we have Global, we have the news outlet you talked about, we have CBC, and we have, you know, podcasters as well that come out and film it and have an audience, right? Then those arguments can't stand necessarily, right? Because they can be defeated by other narratives, right? Um, CTV might say one thing and Global will spin it another way, and CTV will spin it another way, right? So, so I'm not too concerned about that uh, necessarily. I would like to get onto some podcasts that do have some reach. I don't know if you know Jimmy Dore. Do you know Jimmy Dore in the States? He's a comedian out of Los Angeles. Do you know who I'm talking about? No. Okay. Yeah, he's a podcaster. Well, he's a comedian out of LA, a working comedian. He works all over the US and Canada and Europe. And he has, I don't know, about 1 million subscribers. And I know a lot of Canadians have come onto his podcast with a lot of Canadian issues that kind of touch on things like, like things that affect the US. Um, even looking at this from the perspective of Alberta separation, I can use what is happening to AISH recipients right now as a as a decent assumption for where separation is heading, right? And so, I've been thinking about contacting Jimmy. Um, and there's another podcast, Due Dissidence, that has around 30,000 subscribers. Well, no, they have more than that, 200,000 subscribers. Um, so there's also that, right? And getting this out there and getting it in the face of the government, ultimately, right? This is not about the media, it's about the final step, which is the government and dealing with them specifically. Uh, I don't know. Are there any podcasts that you watch that have like a lot of subscribers that you could recommend? I'm curious. I'll write it down too. If you have any suggestions, I'll write those to myself. No, okay. Um, Yeah, because there are some tremendous podcasts out there with huge reach. Uh, and, the fact that I'm doing this all alone right now and you have no idea what it took to set this up. I mean, I hardly got any sleep last night. Um, and, so I'm doing the whole enchilada myself. What'd you say? Do you know Pat King? Can you explain a little bit about? I don't know Pat King. Can you explain a little bit about Pat King? I'm curious. Who is Pat King? Um, I haven't heard of that individual. And I noticed somebody else just came in. We have 3 people watching. Please say hello to the third person. There's Kathy, there's me, and there's one other person. We've been going for an hour and 35 minutes right now, which is pretty crazy. Uh, and we've been talking about a lot of great things. We've been talking about the financial deprecation under ADAP. We've been talking about the corruptness of the government. He was one of the leaders in a huge convoy. Oh, okay. Yeah, if it's one of the convoy people, um, I don't seem to care. I actually supported the convoy in so much as the fact that citizens were using their voice. And that is our right. Whether you agree with the movement or not, you can think about it whatever way you want. But the fact that Canadians stood up and said no, that is exactly what a Canadian does. Uh, yeah. So, well, I'll look into Pat King. If you have Indian information, let me know, and I will absolutely reach out to Pat King. Once again, I'm saying that I'm doing this all on my own, and there are so many working elements to this. It's kind of crazy. Um, and so, you know, I'll do that as well. I mean, it has to be done. Everything right now needs to be done. Uh, does that third person want to say hi? I'm curious. I'd love to know who's in here and just say hi. And yeah, yeah, say hi. Uh, this is a loving space. Like I said before, there is no judgment in this room. In this, whatever you want to call it, podcast, there is no judgment here. There is love for people in this room. And that's all I want for people to feel, that they are accepted here, that we can move together as one organism, that we can protest, that we can give ideas, we can share information. These are really important things. These are the most important things because I'll tell you what, July 1st comes very quickly. And when July 1st comes, that doesn't mean we can't fight then, but it makes it more difficult, right? It's going to be hard to tear down a structure than it is from impeding its progress. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that the Leviathan does not reach the gate, right? Because if he reaches the gate, he tears the gate down and we're all vulnerable to whatever he wants to do to us. So, Kathy, you let me know. I'm gonna go a little bit longer. I want to give some information from somebody from Edmonton. They have been amazing. And so I'll read a little bit of this to you. You can tell me what you think. Um, the adult the adult disabled the adult disabled population in Alberta is therefore navigating a system in which the eligibility criteria for the program providing their income support are not fully documented, right? So there is no documentation as to how we're going to navigate this system, nor is there concrete uh, evidence on our eligibility criteria, right? So we're all up in the air right now. Nobody has a clue, right? The program manual governing their daily compliance with that program is too long and too technical for most recipients to use, right? So right now they've exploded the technicality of ADAP, and we know that, of course we have capacity, but in some cases our capacity is limited, and so our capacity being limited, we can only handle so much information at once. And you know what it was like getting on AISH. You know the hoops, the fiery hoops of death you had to jump through just to get on this program. And now it's going to be exponentially more difficult and confusing, confabulatory, all of these things, right? Um, so that's that. Just give me a second. I know somebody. Event like this. Hi, Gavin. I'm there. Joey, man. How should we blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I just have some things coming in from. So I guess, yeah, some guy named Joey was on here and wanted to know. But he was sending it to my Facebook, and I'm like, no, just type it in the comments. So I'll have to get back to him later. So anyway, where was I? The program manually, blah blah blah. The cohabitation earnings and benefit calculation rules are routinely misapplied even by program staff. The supplementary health coverage they depend on is not comprehensively documented. The transition to the successor program is being implemented without disclosure of those rules that will govern it. And the appeal pathway that has historically allowed recipients to challenge decisions made about them is becoming eliminated. So this is just another problem, right? They are eliminating the appeal process so that we can't even appeal a decision. Now, there is no democracy in that. And we're talking about the UCP here, right? The ones that we would say might have the handle on what democracy means. This is not a democratic process. There is no. Well, yeah, right. Yeah, I can spell communist, UCP. Well, here's the thing. If we want to just look at that, it's an interesting thing about the UCP, right? Because the UCP, of course, would say that they are so anti-communist, and they would promote the liberals as being such. Now, I'm not going to say that the liberals aren't, because I do believe they have their own form of communist rhetoric, right? In terms of establishing like a bloated managerial class, right? Centralization, things like this. These were all communist edicts, and they were the problem with capitalism. The Communist Manifesto that Marx wrote, the problem, well, it wasn't even a problem because he never really wrote about it. The problem with communism is not its critique on capitalism. Its critique on capitalism has never been sufficiently argued. The problem with communism is centralization, right? This is the problem with communism. The fact that you centralize and you bloat a managerial class, and therefore there is only one place for people to go. They have no political agency anymore. Everything is taken care of by the state. That is the problem with communism, not its critique on capitalism. So I agree with you, Kathy, absolutely. But like I said, the argument as to capitalism is sound. It's a very sound argument, and Marx did a great way of explaining it, right? But here's the funny thing about the UCP, right? The UCP would say they're not communist at all, and they hate communism and everything else. But by instituting this program, they are bloating the ADAP budget, let's say, because it won't be AISH. They're going to bloat the ADAP budget to the tune of $46 million a year. That is $46 million a year to a managerial system. That is communism. Okay? That is the creep of communism, right? More people to handle this, to handle that, more money in the system. That is the centralization aspect that I'm talking about. They are going to centralize and are under this, centralizing your life, right? Under one metric in which you can't appeal. You can't appeal it. And they are bringing in $46 million worth of managers more per year just to take care of their failures, right? Because we have already expressed, Kathy, you and I talked about this. We've already said that if 20% to 30% of people fail on ADAP, it will cost the government $7 billion more per year. Billion, not million, $1 billion per year under ADAP, under this new program. And 20 to 30% is not irrational. It's actually right in line with common reasoning as to who would fail on any given system. Okay? So, yeah, I just noticed there's 3 people watching. That's me, that's Kathy, and that's somebody else. I don't know who it is. Can you say hello? Can you say hi? Just a quick hi. We're all smiling in here. We're all happy. I would love to know who's here. Kathy, did I answer your question? Or did I spell out communism? Would you agree or do you disagree? I'm curious. I'll give you a minute to see what you think. And once again, for the okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And this is what we fight, right? We fight for true democracy. And true democracy is not met under a liberal government. It's not met under the NDP. And it is certainly, now we know, not met under the UCP. Okay? It just is not. And when a government can do this to its people, it needs to be held accountable. And somehow, the demos, the people, our class of individual, the disabled, if you want to call us that, need to bring our power back into alignment with government structures that have, they've taken over the farm, for lack of a better term, right? So this is what we have to do. We have no other thing to do. So I'm going to read a little bit more. Tell me what you think. This is not a system designed to serve a population of disabled adults navigating it with the support of comprehensive information. It is a system designed around the presumption that the recipient will accept the determinations made about them by adjudicators applying criteria the recipient cannot review, will comply with rules the recipient cannot fully understand, and will lose the benefits to which they are entitled when their navigation of the system fails. Not because they are ineligible, but because the information they would need to remain eligible was not made available to them. Okay, now, I think I understand what that's saying, but I would also say that the program itself, whether it's understandable or not, it comes down to the program. It comes down to the transition and the fact that the transition is actually illegal under our Alberta democracy, number one, and directly tied to the mandates that are already established in AISH. So they are actually not even legal on 2 of those grounds, right? And that's the problem. More than the understanding, it's the fact that the transition exists. The transition from AISH to ADAP exposes a further dimension of this asymmetry that requires direct examination. The transition is structured around an exemption framework. Certain categories of AISH recipients are designated as automatically remaining on AISH and not subject to reassessment. As of the publication of this report, the government has identified 4 such exemptions. Recipients of the persons with, so PDD is one, program 13,641 individuals. Recipients over the age of 60, 13,603 individuals as of September. Residents of continuing care, that's about 2,500. And recipients with palliative terminal care, count unpublished, so there is no count. The remaining, so approximately 50,000 strong, 50,000 are the ones that are going to be moved onto ACE. I'm going to read your, it comes down to the doctors more, I feel. If the doctors don't explain enough of that is going on with the applicant, they are denied. Yeah, now I don't know how that's going to be handled yet. I have heard, but I can't substantiate, that the government is going to institute its own either doctors or just bureaucratic workers to determine eligibility. It is my understanding, although I could be wrong, that your personal doctor will not be the one to adjudicate you. Yeah, right. Except maybe that he will submit the documentation, but your doctor won't make the decision. I'm pretty sure about that because I don't think your doctor made the decision on AISH, right? It will be a bureaucracy that already has already been read the act to not allow for this, not allow for that. It will become stricter in adjudication, right? And so I can see, I mean, this exists, this nefarious, uh, 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 you know, transition exists because, well, it exists. So if it exists and it's as horrendous as it is, then of course they're looking to get rid of people. And so it will come down to this bureaucratic system that has more strict rules, more stringency, and more ways to deny people, and therefore more people will be denied. That seems altogether reasonable to me. Um, that is the way it is, right? Uh, yeah. Um, Give me 2 seconds. I just want to. uh, uh, yeah. So yeah, uh, it's a whole thing. I mean, it's none of it is good. Like none of it is good. The only good thing is that we're talking about it. That's the only good thing about this. Um, so the structure of this exemption framework reveals something the framework's design was not intended to disclose. For the exempted populations, the government is treating the recipient's existing H file, the documentation produced by the same provincial assessment system, adjudicated by the same medical assessors, signed by the same physicians, governed by the same eligibility criteria, as conclusive evidence that the recipient is permanently and severely disabled. No reassessment is required. That's the way we know it. No new medical report is required. No appearance before a medical review panel is required. The existing file is sufficient. This is what we have, right? For the transitioning population, the same kind of file produced by the same system is treated as insufficient, right? So that whole edict of AISH is insufficient now for 50,000 people. The recipient is moved by default to ADAP. So if you don't fall into those four categories, July 1st, boom, you're done. You're moved. Their reinstatement to AISH requires submission of a new disability assistance medical report. and adjudication by a medical review panel hired by the same ministry. That's what I just said. Hired by the same ministry that benefits financially from each finding of ADAP placement. Right. So the benefit of you not getting back onto AISH, they already have a financial stake in that game, right? Uh, the the independent appeal pathway that historically existed for AISH eligibility decisions has been eliminated for this cohort. Two recipients with substantively identical files, one in an exempt category, one not, receive structurally different treatment, right? Uh, let me read your last thing here. WCB doctors say you can work, while family doctors say no. So if WCB has been getting away with this for years, AISH is, yep. That's a great observation, a great truth that you just spoke. That is the way it's going. I welcome the third person that just came in. And Kathy is saying that WCB doctors say you can work, and family doctors say you can't. And basically, the government now wants to work the AISH program or the ADAP program like a WC program, where it just becomes easier to say no, and your doctor can't fight against that. And now neither can we, because there is no way for a second opinion. Once they've determined ineligibility, you're done. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. I don't even know what to say about that. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, how crazy? Like, how crazy? Um, hey, I'll tell you what, Kathy. It seems like people are jumping in, jumping out. We had a few people there. Do you want to keep going? Do you have any other questions? I'm curious. I'll entertain anything you have. I have a lot more information, but of course, I'm going to do this 4 times a week, and so something new can come out every day. And I'm really hoping that more people will chat like you've been so gracious with your time with me. Uh, I'm extremely thankful. You even helped me at the beginning to set it up, so tell me everything is working, and I appreciate that. Um, and I'm going to be on here 4 days a week, even if I sit here alone until somebody comes in. I feel that this is necessary because we need to move toward action, right? Um, oh, you have a date with your 3-year-old grandson. Well, you got to do that. You go if you have to. I'm going to stay on here maybe for a few minutes, and I'll talk to whoever else comes in here. But Kathy, I really appreciate your time. And look at our thread. Look at how many questions you've been asking. That's amazing. You've given statements. You've given theories. You have given stats. I really appreciate you. So thank you. I certainly hope you come back. And let's keep going. This is about action. It's not about a podcast. It is to act, and it's to act within this ecosystem, right? To have people call in, to hear from other people, and things like that, or to chat. So thanks, Kathy. Thank you so much. Now, I think Kathy might leave in a minute, but we still have 3 here. So there's someone not saying hello. Do you want to say hello? Um, yeah, I hope so. I hope so too. I'm just going to keep doing it. I will stand outside of City Hall and protest myself if I have to. And I'll do this by myself if I have to. I just know that I have to do something. And that's what I'm doing. So thanks, Kathy. Much love and respect. Um, Somebody new just came in outside of Kathy. Do you want to say hello? Kathy and I have been discussing some really salient points about this transition. And there's so much going on right now, and I want to know how people feel. I really want to know how people are feeling about this. We need direct action. We need protests. That's why this exists. But we need to talk. We need to formulate. We need to come together and, put together these types of actions. I am hosting every Wednesday at the Central Library downtown in Calgary um, a uh, a protest movement, putting people together so that okay. Okay, so somebody is in the who's here? Somebody just jumped in. Who is that? Use the chat. Tell me who you are. Um, uh, let me see. Can I paste that? Um, yeah, somebody's in here right now. I think yes, there are two now watching now, and so let me know who you are. Kathy just jumped out, but she was with me for 2 hours. Remember? Hey, oh, Chantel, hey. All right. Good to see you, girl. Now there's three people in here. I used a lot of your statistics. As you can see, I've been going for over 2 hours now. Been having great conversations with people. Been using your analysis and your amazing statistics. I've been using some of my own. I've been getting questions from especially this Kathy, left, right, and center. Um, do you have anything on your mind? I mean, this is me. You can finally see who the hell this schmuck is. Like, yeah, like I said, I really appreciate all of the work that you've done. And, whoever else is in this chat, well, it just went down to two. So it's you and me again. But I really appreciate you. Uh, you have done such great work. And I don't even know how to commend you properly for doing what you've done. I mean, you've been vital to me in understanding things that I just wasn't getting. Um, so I appreciate you so much. Like the information you gave is instrumental to this whole struggle, and now it's a struggle. Um, that's what it is. Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, you can't lie around because ant season's coming up, and
Oh,
I got ants
yeah,
down here.
yeah. I wouldn't do that for yeah. I wouldn't do it for a day. No,
Okay, well,
yeah.
it's kind
You
of
can
gonna be
take it
a
up if
couple
you
of
want.
hours, right?
Yeah, you take it up if you want. That's fine.
Yeah, I feel better about that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Sorry, uh, Chantel. Yeah, I appreciate you more than you know. Uh, yeah, it's been great to get this kind of information from somebody like you and to be able to use it. I started the podcast today just talking about, um, just basically the harm that this represents, right? And the fact that this harm is already known, and so continuing uh, a known harmful policy makes that harm intentional. And so it is my contention that this whole thing is structured for a reason. And in the last 2 hours, we've had conversations on the intentionality of this, um, but we've talked about everything else as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, the intentionality is mystifying to me. Why a government would do something that they know is wrong at a scale this big. Um, and maybe that's just the balls of a government, right? Like maybe that's the balls the UCP has right now. Sorry for the expletive or whatever, but you know what I mean? Like I guess they just, I grew up in an abusive household, and people ask me, why did your dad beat you? And I said, because he could, right? And I think it's the same thing here. I think the government does it because they know they can, or they think they can. And that's why this podcast exists, uh, to ultimately call out a government that knows what they're doing, will do something so hurtful and heinous to such a large group of voting constituents, people, humanity, and yeah, I mean, they have to be called out. They have to be called out in this podcast. They have to be called out with all the work you're doing. They have to be called out in, online with what I'm doing down at the Central Library on Wednesdays and with direct action. We have to put this together. Somehow, the 5 people that are in here right now need to spread to 10, and 10 to 20, and 20 to 40, and 40 to 80, and my math starts to fail me. But you know what I mean, right? We need to collectivize. Now it's down to 3. We need to collectivize. We need to come together. I want to get up to Edmonton so bad. I'm looking at some people to collaborate with in order to get up there, um, and work on a direct action protest at the legislature. Right? I think this is absolutely necessary. We need to be 80,000 strong. We need to be 80,000 in front of Danielle Smith, telling her what she's not going to do to us. Right? I mean, that to me is the only line of defense we have open. Let me. Uh, the cards came in today. I'll be sending them out on the ground in Lethbridge, Grand Prairie, U, and Calgary. Okay, can you expand on that? I'm curious. What does that? What does that mean? Um, I'll be out here in St. Albert and Edmonton. I'll be there with the banner. Okay, so you're gonna. Uh, um, the threshold isn't whether they meant to harm people; it's whether they were told they were and continued. They were, they did. The threshold isn't whether they meant to harm people, it's whether they were told they were and continued. Uh, yeah, but do you think that they were told that they're harming people? I mean, it's funny, right? I talked to an Aish, whatever, person on the phone a few days ago, and man, we boiled it down to brass tacks, to simple humanity itself. They were quite good at listening. They didn't get upset. They didn't get angry. Um, and they did intimate how sad and sorry a sack of shit they felt they were being for working for this kind of institution. Um, but I don't know if that's an awareness. They're not getting a daily dose of that, right? They're not getting a daily reminder of just how nefarious this program is and what their responsibility to us is. That's the problem. They can easily deny this, like we tend to do as human beings, right? Um, we can deny the harm we're doing on other people when it doesn't affect us. The problem is That just because you don't accept it or acknowledge it, it doesn't go away, right? It reminds you when you wake up in the morning. I told this Aish lady, I said, I hope you have a hard time going to sleep tonight. I don't mean that because I don't like you. I mean that because I believe you need to feel into this, to what this is for 80,000 people. And she didn't disagree with me. She kind of was very solemn in her reply. So, so I think they were told, go ahead. They had every report, every medical association statement, every federal warning, every recipient submission, every ombudsman flag, yeah. The people making the decisions, the only people for whom this is presented as new are the public. And that's the point. I don't think I could have said that better. I think you're right. At this point, they do know, and the public doesn't know. And that's why direct action is so important. This is why we can't sit around and not, you know, even put things in this chat. We need to start not only talking about this, and we need to do that quickly, but we need to start acting immediately in regard to what we're going to do to get in the face of the public en masse. I mean, I went to a protest last week, and God bless them for it, but it was pathetic in turnout. There was hardly anybody there. And if the news shows that in a wide shot, it's going to look terrible for them and not good for the cause. And I'm not saying that we all need to be superstars on social media or on, TV, but optics is one of the most important things in this. We need to be seen, right? Right now, there's a middle class that is going to suffer just as much. Well, they will suffer by extension, paying more in tax, exponentially more, to the tune of $7 billion more dollars a year under ADAP. That's what they're going to spend. And they need to know that, right? I mean, people move on self-interest, and this is their interest. This is where they are going to be impacted for sure. We need to get out there. I'm hoping, because I'm going to do this every day until I feel like it's either not useful or it starts to gain traction, because we need to start showing up. The Central Library, downtown Calgary, is the place where I am establishing people for protest exclusively. Twice a week, we're going to get out there. That doesn't mean, excuse me, that you need to do it twice a week. It means you could do it once a week, once every 2 weeks. But I'm going to be there twice a week. I'm going to do this Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, because something needs to be done. This is my livelihood too. And it's the livelihood of 50,000 people, ostensibly 50,000. There's 80,000 on AISH. This is going to affect 50,000 of us. That's a lot of people. That's still a genocide as far as you ask me. Still a genocide. And so we need to get together. There is no more room now for, sitting in your room just feeling bad about yourself alone. I think we need to get together and feel bad for each other, because this is all of us. And then we need to scream at the top of our lungs that we're not going to, like Dee Snider said in the 80s, we're not going to take it, right? And I don't know, above and beyond that, what else we can do. We have all the statistics, we have all the analytics, we have the psychiatric acknowledgments, we have the fiscal direction of what this looks like. We have everything we need. The thing we don't have right now is the action to carry it out. I understand people are on AISH. Not all of them are going to be able to come out. But for those who can, should. And that's where I think we're going to make an impact. We're getting together this Wednesday. So I'm going to, you know, uh, I'm going to do everything I can to propagate the message uh, and to start protesting probably next week, twice a week. We need it. We need these uh, public servants, right? And at that, fairly ignorant ones to rise, to stand up and to take notice and to be so ashamed and afraid of their livelihoods that they would come out of their building and take an account for themselves. Things need to change. Our government needs to change whether this happened with Aish or not. But because it is, and it's an odd duality that those who society may consider the least of these may be the ones that can actually or will actually change the political landscape, right? I mean, if we can get it done, I'm sure other people can do what is necessary for themselves. We need to do this. You have any thoughts about that, Chantel? There's 4 people in here right now. I would love your thoughts on what I just said. This is an open space. It is a space for love. There is no judgment. I sucked all judgment out of the room when I came in here today to do this podcast. There is no judgment. So I would love to hear from anyone your thoughts regarding what I'm saying and what your thoughts are. What you think. So let me know. I can only talk for so long until, you know. That's why I'm going to be going to Edmonton with my banner and case cards to get information out there. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's it, right? I mean, that's at this point, this is what we do. This is what we have to do. Um, those cards, I want to get those cards too, because I think they're really important to get into the hands of the middle class. I mean, they can have different things written on them, and the middle class can just say, you're getting screwed to the tune of $7 billion a year. The Heritage Fund, blah, 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 right? These are the important metrics that the middle class needs to know in order to get them upset, right? Um, and of course, media. I mean, the media is not doing their job right now. They need to get involved, right? If it bleeds, it leads. Well, we're hemorrhaging to death, so the media needs to get in there. Government hasn't formally sent letters to recipients. Hasn't. If someone isn't in the know, how are they going to know what's happening? Well, that's just it. I mean, their whole transition is like a light under a bushel, right? Like they have hidden this from really even us, and certainly from the middle class. Nobody that I know that isn't on age has a clue about this, right? And they don't have a clue about all the things that you in particular, did so much research on, the Heritage Fund, all these things that exponentially affect the middle class, um, finances and standard of living. I mean, it's $8 for 4 liters of milk for everybody, right? Not just the AISH recipient. So these are things that the middle class needs to fight. Our fight is, of course, our fight, and it's closer to home. But we need to, to do exactly what it is you said you're doing, and that's what I'm doing. They're considering the majority of those online are speaking out at their individual capacity. You did the Heritage Fund analysis. I looked into it after you brought it. Yeah, right. Right. So, yeah, I did that work because it was very curious work to me. And wow, like what a revelation, right? I mean, what came out of that, and the fact that that we should be at 1.8 billion and we're at 1.8 trillion dollars and we're at 30 billion. Astounding reality, right? Truth. So this is what the general voter needs to know. especially the UCP guy, right? Or girl or whatever. Um, hey, there's 4 people watching right now. I would love for somebody to jump in. Use the chat here. Don't go to Facebook or anything. There's a chat here that you can use. Uh, just type your comments in there, questions, comments, um, and you can type anything you want. Uh, so do it there. Don't. Some people have been Facebooking me, which doesn't work. Put it in the chat here. That way we can all see it and we can all respond to it if we want to. Okay, just so people know. Um, yeah, because this is gaining, some momentum. We are gaining momentum. We are strong. What can I say about this? We have been told we are weak for so long that we believe it. Our parents told us it, right? Maybe a bad spouse told us it. Uh, the government has always told us that. And none of that is actually true. None of that is true of the human species. You may want to believe that that is you. Oh, of course, we'd have more, yeah, with them if they did their own research, but they don't care. They care about their property taxes. That's the problem. They care about rezoning, right? That's the big thing in Calgary, rezoning. And every middle class person I talk to is like, oh, rezoning is so bad. And I'm like, yeah, you know what's worse? The fact that you don't get about $8,600 a year, every Albertan, under the Heritage Fund. That's pretty bad. And we can fight more than one thing at once. People don't understand. Um, so, once again, um, we've been told by people that we're worthless. I mean, every human being has been told that sometime, somewhere. The general, I think, understanding or ethos that people have in society today is that they are worthless. But that is not true from an epistemological standpoint, nor is it true from what we know of the species. We are as valuable as a Taylor Swift or a Jeff Bezos or an Elon Musk or for sure a Donald Trump. We are as valuable to the planet as any one of these people. As a matter of fact, most of those people I mentioned are either destroying the planet or doing nothing for it. And we are actually serving our neighbors. We are serving each other, right? Pushed me to apply for H. Then once I did and got on it, the same people called me lazy. Okay, now that's funny, right? That's sad. It's really sad, but it's also it's funny because they would consider themselves the intellectual, right? And yet there is nothing Socratic, meaning coming from Socrates, in what they said to you, right? Uh, they are captured by their own ignorance and by their own sense of self interest, right? So they are far more interested in what they have to say than anything you have uh, that is logical and a complete thought, right? And this is how people get you, right? This is how the gotcha happens, right? We don't know that we're valuable. People tell us we're not valuable. We believe that. And then these people have something over us. And what we need to stand firm in is the fact that whether it's a God or a universe or nature or whatever, we have been instilled with the value granted to us by that nature. Simply 100%. It doesn't matter what you can think or how you can't think. Your value rests in the fact that you exist here now. That's it. And it's hard for people to understand that. Uh, you have to log in to use the stream chat. Oh, um, uh, can you? Oh, like to log into YouTube, Chantel? Is that what you're saying? Aha. Okay. So people need a YouTube account, or can't they just watch it? Or no, they need their YouTube account active. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, yeah. Like they actually need an account. I know there's three people in here now. Um, they can watch, but they can't comment. Oh, uh, meaning here. I'm gonna put this back. Meaning their own personal accounts. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Stick with me. I'm just gonna do this. Ba, 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 ba. Uh, YouTube. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'll make sure that I actually put that in maybe the comments for tomorrow's stream. Um, but there are three people watching right now, and I would love to know. Uh, I couldn't see chat until I logged in. Ah, okay. Well, I'm happy you are here, so thank you. Um, there are three people in here right now. I know Chantel is one of them. I know that I, Gavin, am number two, and but there's another one. Do you want to say hi, or can you say hi? Um, you might not be able to comment, but if you can comment, I would love you to say hi and tell me anything you feel about what's happening right now with like how you're feeling about this transition. I mean, it really sucks. That's what I can say. I'm scared. I'm concerned. I'm frightened. It's dangerous. Um, what? It's existential. It's the rest of my life. Um, yeah. Uh, that's what this is. That's what this means for me. Um, yeah. I guess it's just down to you and me, Chantal. But yeah, like that's what this is, man. It's no joke. It's no laughing matter. And I don't. I seriously, you know, I just know I have to do something. I think just like you, I can't go to bed tonight knowing that I did nothing. Right? Uh, I don't feel that luxury. Um, yeah, right. Because we're all in this together. I'm hosting this thing, and it took every bit of my patience to get this up and running. Um, but I did. Thank you for the love or the heart or whatever that is. Um, yeah, I am you. You are me. We are all the same in this. There is no difference. There is no daylight between anybody in this stream, which just constitutes you and me. Um, uh, and I need you, and I need the people as much as they feel they may need someone else. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. Hey, seeing that it's just the two of us in here at the moment, do you think I should lower my camera angle a little bit? Like it seems a little high to me. What do you think, Chantel? Because I'm not looking directly at the camera when I'm talking. I'm just wondering. I think okay, so it's okay, cool. So it looks like I'm directing to the camera at least. Like, yeah, that looks okay. Um, That's good. That's a good thing. Um, if that's how it looks. Is the audio and video okay? Like everything works pretty well, yeah? Okay, cool. Audio and video, all good? Okay, there are 4 people in here right now. I'm going to tell the 4 people that are in here that if you want to comment, and I absolutely want you to comment, you have to have your own YouTube account. So you have to log into that, and then you'll be able to chat live. And so, um, thanks, Chantel. Yeah, perfect. And so, if you have a YouTube account, be logged into that. Otherwise, you can watch, but you can't partake. And this whole thing is about partaking. It's not about me doing this, and flapping my gums for 3 hours. It is about all of us. It is about, like I was just saying to Chantel, I need you guys in this fight as much as you may need somebody else. There is no daylight between our species right now. We are all the same in this fight together. And that's really important to acknowledge. It's okay to feel a little bit of weakness right now. I feel weak. Um, and that's why I'm doing this, because I need to feel some sort of strength. I'm also putting together direct action for protest, and that's another way for me to feel a sense of strength in something in which the government is trying to make my weakness a daily reality. You see? And that's what they're doing to all of us. That's what they're doing to 80,000 people ostensibly. All right? They're taking our agency from us, they're taking our will from us, and we can't allow that. We are as important and uh, as ideologically sound as anyone in government. And the fact that I have had interviews with government officials lately, I can tell you that my litmus test is finished and the statistics are in, and politicians are no smarter than you, and in some cases, a lot less. Okay? That's the truth. That is the absolute truth. There is nothing they hold over you in terms of intellect. And even though they might be academic on one level, they fail in their humanity. Absolutely. Every time. Right? They are afraid. They are afraid to speak up. They are afraid to be strong. Um, they that is their MO. That's how they operate day to day, is in a spirit of fear. And they should be afraid, but they should be afraid of us, not their political party, not how they look on the news. Huh? They should be afraid of the people. That is good government, right? And that's what we're trying to do here. You can say none of this is going to make a difference. Well, I'll tell you what. Wasn't it Wayne Gretzky that said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take"? That's what it is if we all sit around and just watch. So what do we got? Hi, yes, I was just emailing Pat, the supervisor. Her name is Pat, no last name. Oh, okay. Hey, Pam. Good to see you. Uh, I hope you're doing well. Um, once again, this lie that we are not uh, as cogent or as our intellect fails in the light of government is ridiculous, and it's nonsensical, because every time I talk to an AISH recipient, I can assure you they are far more Socratically sound and psychologically aware than any politician I've ever met. That's just the simple truth. That's just the way it is. Um, good, 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 good. Pam, that's great. It is great. Um, how do you feel right now? How do you feel? Joey, what do you mean? Joey wants to go to Edmonton next week. What does that mean? Can you expand and just be succinct as to what that means? Um, yeah, and there's 4 people watching right now: Chantel, Pam, me. There's one other person. And if you can comment, I would love for you to just say hi. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do any more. This is interactive. This is about you. It's not about me. Um, of course, I'm hosting this, but that's the only thing I'm doing. This is about 80,000 people. It is literally about 80,000 people. So I would like everyone to say hi when they come in and take part in this live chat. Um, I've been going, how long is my, so I'm 2 hours in right now. I mean, I'm over that. I don't know how many more. I'll be out and about while my kids are in school during the week. I'll be in Edmonton once. Yeah, no. That's what we need to do, Chantel. That's what we need to do. Um, we need to be out there. Uh, that's all I can say. Um, so look, I've said a lot. I mean, I opened with, and once again, I'll just state the purpose of this podcast. I think it's important that people know this, and I'll state it as written. This show exists because decisions are being made that destabilize tens of thousands, and no one is being forced to answer for it. That is why this exists. No one, um, no one is being held accountable, and no one is forced to that account. And I'm sorry, but I looked at a picture of Daniel Smith yesterday, and my first thought was, nothing special. I mean, what is it Daniel Smith has that I don't have? I mean, I know the obvious answer to that question, but I mean, in terms of humanity, in terms of life force, in terms of the things I've done in my life, eh, Daniel Smith has nothing. She's not an overly attractive individual. There is nothing about her that separates her from anyone else walking down the street today. See what I mean? And oh, nice. Thanks, Chantal. Thanks, Pam. Thank you for sharing it. Um, yeah, I mean, once again, we live in this fantasy of stories, right? We tell ourselves stories like, we're not as good as Daniel Smith. We're not as good as Jason Nixon. These people run and they hide. They're not out in the open like you are. They simply are not. We're out in the open. We're giving an account. We're the brave ones. We're the intellectual ones. This is us, right? There is no difference, and we need to get that. No difference between us taking part in this podcast right now or anyone sitting in Edmonton in the legislature, right? As a matter of fact, we know our humanity. We know the love we have for each other and the species. Yeah? And intellectually, we are the same. We are simply the same. So I'm just going to say it. Get out there. Start fighting with us. I will say one more time. Wednesday this week, it will be 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. Central Library, downtown Calgary, room 310B. I'll say that again, 310B, as in Bravo. And I want to see some people come out. I want to see people starting to use their creativity, starting to think of what kind of signs we could make, what's short and sweet and hits and makes the point, and then gets out there and says, we're not going to sit in this room any more longer. We're going to get out there and we're going to hit it. We're going to destroy this thing. We're going to crush this transition. All right. I mean, this is force. This is action. This is us. This is our species. This is everything. All right. Can I get an amen in the chat? Can I get any of that? Yeah. Somebody, anybody, give me an amen. We need an amen to that. Yeah, amen. Thank you, sister. Um, That's what we need. We need to to collectivize, and none of us have the kind of strength to do this forever. But we're talking about July 1st. I think we have enough intestinal fortitude to get out there and to do what needs to be done for a month and a half or 2 months. And once we're done, we can all go back to what we will maintain or retain as our living room, and we can enjoy us a little Netflix. We can enjoy us a little whatever. We can cook on the stove we still have. You see what I mean? It's 2 months and we need it. Otherwise, we may not have the living room, the sofa, or the stove, right? Am I right about that or am I not right? It might sound hyperbolic, but it's true. Yeah, let's do it. Amen. 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 Um, yeah, and I believe you're right, Pam. I believe that our July checks will reflect, uh, or our our July checks that are handed out in June will reflect July's decision. Absolutely. Um, so yeah, we need to get in front of City Hall. We need to call the media, right? I'm attempting to get a hold of some really big podcasts, uh, primarily down in the States, but they have a huge Canadian base. Um, they have a huge Canadian base. And I'm talking, people that have like 1 million subscribers, 500,000 subscribers. Um, and they deal a lot with Canadian issues. And they're great podcasts. This is where the word needs to go, right? This is how it needs to spread. And uh, yeah, CBC. I don't know about NBC. That's an American affiliate, not a podcast. But CTV, Global, CBC, all of um, these all need to be contacted. Um, so how do people feel about that? How do people feel about the fact that maybe we can act strongly together as one living organism for 2 months to retain and to maintain what it is we already have? Because it's not only not humane, it is unlawful for a government to take from its people what it possesses. Right? We know this. That's what laws are. You cannot take from people that already have been determined by the program itself that they're unable to work. Right? That should not be allowed to change without some huge um, political table going onto the floor of Ottawa to vote on that. I know these are provincial considerations, um, but this feels like an illegality to me. Um, I'm just going to look at the comments here. I've sent numerous media pitches already. Yeah. Um, yeah. Have you had any feedback from media, Chantel? I'm curious if anyone has contacted you for an interview or anything like that. Uh, uh, I'm curious of that. Um, I'm ready to make enough noise for those unable to voice their own. The fear is real. The threat of our livelihoods if we don't speak out is real. Yeah. No, it's all too real. I don't know. I mean, there's 80,000 H recipients. I don't know. I guess some people don't know about this, but man, I'll tell you what. Uh, Even if I was in a wheelchair, I think I'd be out, you know, like scooting around, with a sign behind me or something, attached to the chair. We need to be doing more. I mean, if the least likely of individuals in society, convert this to a win, there is hope for all of society at that point. Um, we are considered weak, but that's not a truth. That's only a consideration. We are actually strong and we actually can do this. That's what I believe. So, and not only do I believe that, but history believes that. And Socrates believed that. And Plato believed that. And even Christ himself believed that. Right? So, this is what we need to latch onto in our spirit. Right? We need to latch onto that. And, and and do that. Chantel, has anyone gotten back to you from the media? I'm curious. That podcast that you recommend me for, they haven't contacted me yet. Just so you know. Um, yeah, but have you had any hits with the media? I'm curious. And if anybody else has a question, there's 4 people in here right now. If anybody has a question, go ahead. I'm all ears. No judgment. You can't say a wrong thing. Every question is valid. And I sucked all judgment out of this room today when I started this podcast. So this is a zero judgment room. All right. Hermetically sealed with love. Okay. Just so y'all know. Um, yeah, I know, Pam. We know the story, and it's sad. It's extremely sad. Um, I just noticed now there are 5 people in here. I'm curious, of the 5 that are not in the chat, can you chat? Are you able to chat? I will say one thing about the chat. You have to have a YouTube account and you have to be logged into that account if you want to chat. And we absolutely want to hear from you because we love you. And I'd love to hear you say hello in the chat right here. But you need to be logged into your YouTube account to be able to do that. So please go ahead. I'm going to read the next comment here. You are an invaluable ally to this community, Gavin. Truly, your strength is contagious. No media hits yet, but stories are being run related to the campaign since I emailed the pitches. Yeah. Well, that's humbling for you to say that. I will take the compliment and do the best I can with it. Um, you know, we're all so very valuable. It almost makes you want to cry. The fact that people don't understand their worth, you know, um, especially this community. I think that we've been treated like shit for so long, and that's probably one of the reasons that we suffer the way we do. Um, but we are so amazing. Like I said, and this is no word of a lie, it's not hyperbole, it's just simple fact. I have been in rooms with politicians over the last month, and every one of them pales in comparison to the intellect I experience every time I talk to an AISH recipient. That's just the simple truth. Um, these politicians don't understand verbiage, and Pam can attest to this. Uh, I had one guy ask me what a word meant, and everybody else in the room knew what it meant. Uh, they're not that smart. They're not. You're told you're not, and it's about time we told them the same thing with evidence. Okay? You see, this is the most important moment in our lives. In our lives, there is nothing. There has never been austerity to this extent in Alberta in my 60 years of living. There has never been a program like this, something that seeks to destroy on this level. I've never seen it. I don't think any of us have ever seen it. Brother, I have to get going, but keep going. Okay, yep. Gonna be there Wednesday. Good. Uh, MLA don't care. Yep. Uh, love you, Pam. You're a force. You're a solid force, and I appreciate you. And and I know that entire group on Wednesday nights appreciates you. I will say it one more time. Every Wednesday this week, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m., Calgary Central Library. room 310B. I will be hosting a gathering of like minded individuals who are getting together for the specific reason of protest. So I want that to be you. If you're in Calgary, I understand. If you're in Edmonton, that's okay, man. I'm sure they got their own thing going on. But if you're in Calgary, come out. We're going to start raising the banner. Probably this week, absolutely next week, we're going to get going on this thing that we call protest. So I would love to see everyone come out, and I'm going to be doing this podcast Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So 4 days a week, you can come on, you can give me your feelings, you can say what you need to. Um, yeah, of course we will. And and you know what more can I say? I have now been on here almost 3 hours today, and I'm not at a loss. Uh, I think I'm gonna wrap this up pretty quick because, I mean, I've only got tomorrow and then Thursday and Friday. So if y'all want to subscribe to this channel, please go ahead. This should be my NightCastle Productions channel, but it's the channel I'm using. So please subscribe and like the podcast if you can. Um, Nobody's like the podcast yet, and that makes me sensitive. So if you can like the like it, um, subscribe, and I'm going to be on here tomorrow. Does anybody out there, the 5 people that are on right now, are there any questions? Does anybody want to ask anything of me or anything about the program? We have a great resource right now in a woman from Edmonton, a beautiful woman that can answer a lot of questions. Thanks, Chantel. So if anybody has any questions, please go ahead. And we, Chantel and I can answer them. Um, and that's it. If not, I'll probably shut down for the evening. I had a little bit to eat today, but I could really use something to eat. I can tell you, setting this thing up was not easy. I actually had to bail on the first platform and construct a new platform from scratch. So it was tough. It was really tough getting this up. I'm going to have call-in access. I actually have it now, but I'm just don't know how to use it yet, so I'm using the chat. I'm gonna figure that out. Um, oh, you are awesome, Chantel. Thank you. Um, yeah, and so it's I've got wires. Nobody can see anything except this mug right now, but there are wires going all across this room right now, just for this simple task. So, um, look, any questions? Give you all. There's 6 people watching. Um, I will reiterate one more time. Let me keep my face. The purpose of this show uh, is because decisions are being made that destabilize tens of thousands, and no one is being forced to answer for it. All right, that's pretty simple. Nobody's being forced to answer for this, and they have to. These people that consider themselves so extremely smart, intelligent, and educated are the ones destroying the lives of ostensibly 80,000 people. That's not smart. That's not bright. That's not philosophical. That's what we would consider evil. So, I can't make any good excuse for politicians. I'm sorry. I can't praise them for anything. All I can do is hold them accountable. And that's why we're here right now, is to hold them accountable. That's what I'm doing. And I think that's what all of us need to do, to remember the fact that we are as privileged to live on the planet as anyone else, from Elon Musk to uh, whatever her name is, our premier. I can't even think of her name right now. I probably don't want to. Daniel Smith. There, okay. Jason Nixon, we are as privileged to live on this planet and should have that privilege granted to us by nature, not even by a government, but just as a social contract of natural right. Huh? And this is what we don't have. We have usurped our power to a government that is now going to make these kinds of decisions for us. And there is nothing for us in this. That I can tell you, right? So, um, if if there are no more questions or anything else, then I'll relinquish this stream for tonight. I love you all. I want you to know that. Yes, I will be smoking at times during um, this podcast. It's the only vice I have. I don't drink. I don't take drugs of any kind. But these days, I find it very hard to quit smoking, and I'm sure you can all understand why. Um, but my love is for us all, for those struggling, for those who not only need a good word given to them, but we can all use a kick in the pants to get us out there and say, like Dee Snider did, like Twisted Sister did in 1980, we're not going to take it. No, we ain't going to take it. We're not going to take it anymore. You see what I'm saying? That's what we need. So that's right. No one likes a quitter. And I'll tell you what, to people that are on here right now, I simply can't go to bed at night. I can't rest my head on my pillow knowing that I could have done something. I can't do it. Maybe I'm sure some people can, but I can't. I can't. Even with what I'm doing, I'm still finding it hard to sleep. But maybe I'll sleep tonight, you know? Maybe I know that everything's going to be okay. Um, and I'm going to do this. I'll be on here tomorrow. It might be later. I don't know. I'm kind of getting a feeling for that. But 3 seems good. Y'all could comment on what you think. Um, I'll shut the stream down now. But I want you to know, I don't know how any of you feel about me, but I love you all, and I will continue in that space for as long as I can cognitively hold on to it. I want you to know that. You all mean the world to me, to this movement to destroy this transition. Every one of you is as important as the other one. This optics of me being on here means nothing. It's just the fact that I knew I had to do something. That's it. That's all. I'll take this. We'll have to do a joint cast one of these days. I'll be trying to go live on Facebook when I'm out and about. Yeah, that would be phenomenal, Chantel. That would be absolutely phenomenal. See, all of a sudden, bam, we got ideas. We're thinking, we're moving, we're grooving, we're getting it together, and that's what we need to do. We need to get it together. We have it together, all right, and we can't forget where we put it. All right, it's in every one of us, and we need to move forward. We need protest now. We need direct action. All right, if you can stand or roll up on a protest, you should be there. And then, like I said, come July 1st, you can watch you some Netflix, you can eat at your dinner table, you can cook at your stove. But if we don't do this, some of us may not have that living room to watch that show or that stove to cook on. So let's keep going, and let's determine that we're going to activate our human spirit, the one that either God or nature or the universe has granted to us. We still have that. We are important. And I love you all. Okay? I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for coming on. And I'll read this. I'll be making a statement walking around with my banner, duct tape over my mouth, handing out cards to free research to strengthen our voices. I mean, that's what we do, you know. Um, and don't duct tape that purdy mouth. You open that and you just let her fly, let her rip. because people need to hear it. They need to hear the sadness, the anger, the emotion in you. And so, what a beautiful thing. I love y'all. I will see you tomorrow. Same bat place, same bat channel, right? Okay. Until then, you all be well, and I'll see you then. Okay.